What's up guys, my name is Slash and in this video I'll be breaking down a Dijon type beat that I made from scratch. This will just be an FLP breakdown and let's get straight into it. So I've made this Dijon type beat from scratch and I'm gonna be breaking it down for y'all. Let's get into it. I made the whole beat off camera, so I'll just be breaking it down for y'all, but I'll show y'all everything I did. So first of all, I started with these chords on piano. I played them. And this is what they sound like. That's the MIDI. So that's it, like an 8-bar loop. Let me play it without the FX. Yeah. So basically, the goal I had in mind while making these calls was like I wanted them a little spaced out, and the voicing I wanted it in such a way that it sounds almost 80s. You know what I mean? Like a lot of Dijon's music sounds like it's 80s music. So that's what I was inspired by. That's why I went for these chords, and I kept it bouncy at the same time, like adding these little stabs like this shit. Even just a little melody line to follow through so that it doesn't get boring. So at the end, I added this dissonant chord, which makes hell sense when you like listen to it in context. Like it perfectly goes back to the one, and it just sounds kind of sad. Like it deviates from the original progression. That's why I like it. So that's the main progression, and then I got started with the drums, and I went to Addictive Drums for this. That's the preset. I'll show you all. That's the preset, and it's just some simple drums. Yeah. So I'll be breaking down the piano processing. So basically I just got a preamp on it, first of all. Then we got room reverb, just to put in a room. A lot of Dijon's music is like that. Then I got a little flanger turned down, but just there to make it sound a little wide and like, almost metallic. And then I have a simple compressor and a simple EQ to cut off the low end and some of the highs. Yeah. And then for the drums, right here. Okay, so I learned this little trick from one of McGee's interviews where he was talking about how when he's programmed the drums, he's actually playing them at a really low volume. So what that does is instead of like the kick, so that's the kick, that's like the kick picked up, right? Put it around here at this spot. So it almost feels like the drums are being played really light, but the mixing chain that I'm about to show you makes it sound like the drums are punching. So basically you want some kind of a compressor and then tape saturation. So I have J37 here and I've turned up the saturation over here. And just with that, these are what the drums sound like. Instead of like it brings out the punchiness in the drums. Then I just got a compressor to even further compress those transients. Now it sounds boxy. And then just a compressor to cut off some of those that weird low end. That's the main idea that I had. After that, let's go to one of my favorite parts of this beat. That's the bass. So for the bass, what I did was I had it palm muted with just like my palm on the bridge, just pressing down on the strings just a little bit, and then I played it with a pick. So this is what it sounds like. it's almost plucky, you know what I mean? And that's the processing on the bass. So I just got this guitar tool rack on the clean chorus preset. Then another chorus. I don't know why I did that. Probably sounds nice. Then an imager. Really important, guys. You gotta make sure everything is in phase and like the mono, and you gotta make sure like the low end of the bass is mostly mono. Then I got a fab filter satin just to give it a little bit of saturation, make it cut through the mix, and a simple EQ. And this is what the drums, piano, and the bass sound like. So after that, I was thinking, what if I copy the bass layer, turn it 12 octaves, 1200 cents up, and add some effects to it. And that's exactly what I did. Like I had the same chain, and I turned it all the way up. So that's why it gives the high end part to the bass. Like it's really muted in the mix, but it gives it that interesting texture with the original bass. Yeah. So with that out of the way, next thing we got. Okay, so I copied these piano chords to a Xenology preset, which is a simple like electronic piano. Probably you guys probably hear that in a lot of McGee songs, right? And like a lot of Dijon songs. So I just got a simple flanger on it, some EQ, some compressor, nothing crazy. Just following the chords. Same thing with this analog lab preset. Just a swell pad, pan it to the left, so we have more room, right? And again, just got some chorus on it, flangers on it, and a simple EQ. For this kind of a sound, for the Dijon sound, you guys got to make sure you use a lot of flangers, chorus. Make sure everything's in a room, technically. And then I had another analog rap preset. I think this is just a plucky texture, and this is why it sounds without anything. And I just had some super massive on it. Again, flanger. Like I can't emphasize this enough. Like flanger, guys, that's the way to go. And then a simple EQ. So that's what it all sounds like. Alright, so after this, I didn't want to do too much to the beat, right? So I just added this one guitar lead, and I'll play it for y'all with everything going on. So for the guitar lead, I needed something that's very reverby, distorted. I was taking inspiration from McGee for that tone, and I'll show you what I did for the guitar. So this is the guitar without anything. Very simple. I'm not even doing anything crazy. Right? And then the chain is where it's at, bro. First of all, archetype John Mayer plugin. Beautiful. This is a beautiful plugin. That's what I've been using a lot. This thing has a room send in it. So basically, if I turn this up, the more I turn this up, the more roomy it sounds, and that's beautiful. Right? So I had it somewhere around here, and then, guys, this is like the secret sauce I've been using. It's basically a distortion plugin from Arturia, and I can't stress how beautiful it sounds. It just makes it sound like McGee, bro. I'm not even playing. Then again, some flanger, right? And then just EQ, chorus, supermassive to make it reverbed out. And with all of that, that's it for the beat. That's all there is, except the fact that I added these textures in the back just to give just to give the beat ambience. That's all. I love this chord. And I just did one another thing. So the Xenology preset that I used, copying the chords of the piano, I put in the intro. And here what I've done is basically the same chords, I've removed the bounce from them and I've made them longer so that it sounds like a good intro, right? Because I wanted like the stabby part and like the chords bouncing around in the hook. So this what I have made for the intro. It's just the same chords. Sounds so beautiful. I removed the dissonant chord because I only wanted that in the hook. But other than that, that's the whole beat. Now let me show you all what I did on the master. First of all, I was Fruity Soft Clipper just to make the drums hit. Nothing crazy. Then I got tape saturation, tape emulation, whatever you call it, and chord particle. This is basically a limiter and helps boost up the volume for anything that you do. And then at the end, just a little EQ to make sure to cut the annoying frequencies. That's all. And that's the final beat, guys. That's how I did it. And let me know what you guys think about in the comments. And stay tuned for the next video.